A host of factors influencing commodity markets to start the week, even as USDA announced new export sales of corn to Japan and unknown destinations. Michelle Rook sorts through the noise today on Markets Now.
Well, grain starting off the week lower. Arlan Suderman is back with analysis, and it felt like a risk-off day on Monday with that implosion in the crude oil market kind of spilling over into the grains, didn't it, Arlan?
Yeah, it really did. That set a negative tone. I don't think you can say that was necessarily the reason that the grains were weaker, but it did add some headwinds to them overall. Corn and soybeans still dealing with seasonal harvest pressure, big crops being harvested, trying to find a home for the last bushels of those crops. That's going to continue a bit longer. Wheat facing pressure from what we're seeing in Black Sea prices coming in below what Russia said they wanted to sell them at. There's just not a story right now. We've had some good demand, but we have to have good demand right now with the supplies that we have.
What about the fact that we have planting pace that is picked up in South America, especially on soybeans, with some better rains? Is that a bit of a negative for the market?
Yeah, it really is for soybeans in particular, but that also bleeds over into corn. We're seeing good rains in Brazil and Argentina as well. And typically in La Nina, Argentina is what you worry most about in southern Brazil. But most areas are seeing good rains now, and that's good for them. That's allowing them to rapidly plant the crops now, particularly the soybean crop in Brazil, and get it in. Our customer survey showed as of Friday, 42% of the soybean crop was planted nationally in Brazil, 65% in Mato Grosso. That's, I'd say for national numbers, that was about 10 or 15 points below average over the last 5 or 6 years. But when you look at it, it's very similar to a year ago pace, a very similar to 2020 pace, which is another year we've looked at. That's very similar type of weather pattern.
So, Arlan, how far do you go down here before you start to see that demand pick up and support prices on especially corn and soybeans, though?
Well, I think with corn and wheat, we're going to see some underlying support because of longer term expectations for better fundamentals in the last half of the marketing year. For soybeans, I'm not convinced that the bottom is in this market yet because of big crop in Brazil coming.
All right, we'll see if we can hold those contract lows then. Thanks so much for joining us, Arlan Suderman with StoneX, and we'll have more AgDay coming up.